It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire. Our mission is to empower. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only AJ Adams, who's in the building. Yes, he's here. And he'll be talking about, well, the mistakes the folks make that are holding them back from making 7 to 8 figures. So let's figure that out. What's going on, AJ? How are you?
Shay, man, I am good. Blessed to be here. Thank you for having me.
It was an honor, man. Thank you for being here, man. And shout out to Quentin for putting us together, man. An amazing individual, by the way. He and his mom, by the way. But here's the question I have. I don't sound like I'm a Debbie Downer here. But we're talking about marketing. And marketing means different things to different people. So just so we can be on the same page, what is your definition of marketing these days? And why are people struggling with marketing when it seems like, I don't know if it means a logo. Myself personally, I don't know if it means they got to have some color. So take a moment and frame the conversation for the audience, please.
Absolutely. And this is the perfect place to start, because until we understand what marketing is and how it's meant to function, there won't be any clarity. So here's what I found in the past 20 years in marketing, consulting, and training thousands of entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs think about marketing as a way of getting more clients, making more sales. It's all about revenue. That's the end goal. And that's partly true, but it misses the big part. I'm all about psychology. Human psychology is one simple thing, and the true currency of business is relationship. So the way I define marketing is that the function of marketing, the goal rather of marketing, is to generate revenue, but the function is to build relationships. And that's what human beings have always done. So if you think of marketing as building relationships, it will completely transform how you're communicating in the marketplace, how you're building your strategy, and how you're making your offers.
So if that's the case, seems like it's pretty easy peasy. Why are businesses struggling to just be profitable? Let's say that now. I know you talk about scaling to 7 to 8 figures, and let's say they're at 7 figures, but they're still unprofitable, right? So here's the question: why are businesses still struggling to generate revenue in their business when it seems like they have AI, so they should be able to communicate anything they want? Sounds like it to me. It seems like they can watch Instagram on any given day and get motivated and pumped up, but yet they're still failing. So here's the question: why are businesses today struggling, man, just to make money in their business?
Because they're too focused on trying to make money in their business. And when you focus on making money, there's a real simple saying. I like to think of it this way: if you love money, you'll use people. If you love people, you will use money. So if your whole focus is just to make money, which sounds like an oxymoron because that's what a business is, but really, if you think of a business as a way to serve people, then serving people means you're giving disproportionate value, disproportionate to the amount of money they're paying. And if you just focus on giving as much value as possible, people will pay for that value because they're already doing it. You're just trying to get their attention so that they pay you that money. So businesses that are struggling to scale from 7 to 8 or go from 6 to 7 or just get launched or be profitable at whatever revenue level they're at is because they're not giving enough value that is disproportionate to what the customer is willing to pay.
Well said. So someone's sitting there thinking right now, whoa, okay, well, that makes sense. Then I must be doing something wrong. Well, I'm glad you're here because he's going to share with you at least the mistakes that you might be making from a marketing perspective, right? But before we do that, I know some of you are wondering who in the LL Cool J is this guy that's talking, Shay? What is his backstory, right? What was that defining moment that led him to doing what he's doing now? I think AJ knows the question, which are number one, who are you? What's the backstory? And number two, what was that defining moment where you knew serving business owners was going to be your jam?
Yeah, defining moment for me. Background, behind every great success story is an even greater backstory. So my backstory actually comes from the world of the church. I was grew up in the church, served in ministry for a long time, was a youth pastor, worship director, associate pastor. So I've always served people. And there's a fulfillment that comes from serving and helping people, seeing life transformation. But there's no money in that. Then I went to the world of entrepreneurship and business, professional speaking, and then agencies, and now building an agency again. And there's money there, but I found that there was a gap in both. One didn't have the money, one didn't have the fulfillment. So What I found is how to put those two together. And when I realized that business, the turning point was realizing that I didn't want to just make money. I want to really help people. And how do I do that? By serving people. And from that was birthed the mission that now drives all of the business that I do with my wife, who's my business partner: help people get rich, give generously. And that was, really birthed. The turning point was 2012, when I was sitting in a Taco Bell restaurant with my wife and two daughters at the time, reevaluating my life because I was 28 years old, had just moved states to launch this youth ministry and change lives, and I had $5.38 to my name, completely flat, dirt broke. Ended up working two jobs, working as a janitor, and I decided I've got to do something different. I've got to change who I am so I can change the results I'm creating. And I just became obsessed with studying business, money, finance, marketing, sales, success, and really becoming a student of successful people.
And what do you enjoy most about what you're doing now? And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the mistakes you're making because I know some of you are like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I mean, this is my time. This is my moment. I got it. But what do you enjoy most about what you're doing now these days?
I enjoy the most that, Jay, it's not about the money because it's human psychology. If you help people enough, and Zig Ziglar said, if you want to get more of what you want in life, just help more people get what they want. So it's value based. It's relationship. That's the currency of business. And then that's a true currency of business. The first currency of business is attention. So what I love is that I just work on getting the attention of people who I know I can deliver value to, and then delivering a disproportionate amount of value. Then they will ask me to make them an offer. Literally, I make them an offer, and then they pay me for that. And they'll pay me more than they'll pay my competitors because I'm offering more value, but I offer value on the front end. So value first, value always. If you give enough value, people will ask you, hey, how do I pay you for more of this?
And this is from a gentleman. He's very humble, by the way. You'll see later talk about being a janitor and so forth to where he is today. Very humble. So for folks that are listening, and myself included, we're all in here together, right? When do you stop learning? If the question is asked, you never stop learning. So all y'all can lean forward now, right? Because you only need one idea to change your business and or your life. I'm going to ask the question you've been waiting on because I know you read it on the flyer already. Hey, AJ, what are the mistakes that folks are making today in marketing? You might not be able to get to all seven, but maybe you can give us three or four right now. And you at home, lean in for all the entrepreneurs. And if you're a dualpreneur, you can lean in too, by the way, because this is the right moment at the right time with the right guy. Take it away, AJ. What are some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs are making these days?
You know what? I'll give the one biggest mistake because if you understand this one, the rest become irrelevant. You'll understand how to solve those. When business owners and entrepreneurs approach marketing, they approach it not based on relationship. They're just looking for revenue. So you have to shift the paradigm of how you think of it. But the biggest mistake is not having a proven framework and system for how you approach marketing. That's driven by psychology, relationship, and not just a gimmick. So you look at not most of these ads that are out there from marketers who have a system or AI. You mentioned that earlier. There's always some fads, some technology, but all of it is just things. It's just the doing. You've got to think about who are you being. Biggest mistake is not following a psychologically based, relationship oriented system. So here's the system, real simple. I learned this from the greatest business book that's ever been written, the Bible. And I call it the savior cycle. It's something I teach all my clients. Number one, there's 5 steps in it. Number one, you need to serve people. How do you serve people? How do you give the most value? Number two, you need to solve a significant problem. And you solve that problem by, number three, supplying a deep need. When you do those first three things, then you will accomplish number four, which is saving them from whatever that plight is: not making money, being overweight, family, health, whatever it comes down to. And then this is where entrepreneurs get it wrong. You have to sustain them. Create a way for them to continue working with you, whether that's additional offers or better yet, a long term recurring revenue model based on a still giving disproportionate value. That is psychology based. That is founded on building relationship, not on a transaction, but on transformation. So, psychology, relationship, transformation. Biggest mistake entrepreneurs make is not building based on a system that follows that.
And what's the challenge they have with just shifting their mindset then? Because I'm hearing two pieces. I like the idea of systems. I think that's spot on, by the way. So I love that. And for the person that says, whoa, I've got to learn something else, I've got to plug into a system. What's the struggle to have maybe with just their mindset and buying into that? And the reason I ask that is we have a number of folks who are dualpreneurs, by the way. And this is for all you busy folks out there. And I'm going to ask the question, don't worry. They work a full-time job. They want you to know that, take care of the husband or they take care of the wife. They've got kids, by the way. So someone got to take care of kids or they have other responsibilities. And their kids have schedules, by the way. If they're a caregiver, they got schedules. And they're in the community. They're in the church. Like, I've got a lot going on, Shay. So number one, how does he prioritize, or what does he recommend someone to prioritize their time, like myself, who is an entrepreneur? And number two, what is one or two mindsets that he has to help people get back on track that may have fallen off track and got to get back on track? Two-part question.
Yeah. So I talked to a client this morning in a coaching call. You have three things. We all have three things: time, money, and energy. When we don't have time, we typically have money because we're working, which is why we don't have time. If we have time, we typically don't have money because we're not working, generating that money. We all have energy. So what you have to identify is in your situation, which do you have more of? If you have more time, then figure out how to leverage that time to generate more money. If you have the money, but you don't have time, figure out how to leverage your money to create more time, because both of those things will either increase or deplete your energy. And if your energy is gone emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, then eventually you will lose your time and your money. So the shift happens in understanding that, but also in getting clear around the fact that business is not built on transactions. It's built on transformations. You want to help create a transformation for someone that adds enough value, and people will pay you for that. So many business owners are chasing people, chasing. Identify who you can add value to and start to put out the right messaging, the right positioning, and it will attract those people. I don't chase clients. I just put out the right information and they're drawn to it. And then from there, I build relationship. Everything goes back to relationship.
Yeah. I love the part about relationships. What's the, for folks that start new relationships, and this is outside the scope of what he's going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll ask the question for you as well. When starting new relationships, what's most important to entrepreneurs are reaching out to people that they're just meeting or want to meet and they want to establish a relationship? What's one or two things they should look at doing to connecting with someone? And that's one question. And then we'll come back to the other side, which is for folks that are reaching out to them. It's like if someone reached out to you and they wanted a relationship, what do you look for? So ladies and gentlemen, two-part question. Number one, reaching out to people that you want to establish a relationship with because, you want to learn. But then what do you look for from someone who wants to get some of your time and specifically AJ's time and they're looking for a relationship for him? Two-part question, man. Take it away.
Yeah. So the answer to both questions is the same because they're two sides of the same coin. And it's going to go back to what I said earlier. And for those listening, you'll notice I keep going back to the same thing. There's currencies. Currency is value. If I take this money, for those of you who can't see, I'm holding up a whole stack of $100 bills. This is just an idea. It represents the idea of value, but it's a currency. So you have to think about the currency that the person you want to work with, whether it's a mentor or customers, clients, what's the currency that they operate in? And it's two things. It's attention and it's relationship. So if you want to work with someone, you first have to get their attention. And then you have to build a relationship based on giving value. So if it's a mentor, the way I get a mentor's attention is I go and invest in their program. And then I get results with their program. And I become one of the loudest people in terms of sharing value, sharing the journey, and supporting what they are doing. That gets their attention based on the value that I'm giving. Someone wants to get my attention, it's the same thing. I have a free community. You can jump in. There's $20,000 worth of free training and courses in there that I no longer sell. I just give them away for free because that's my way of giving value first and value always. When the people that are in there take action and they share the results they're getting, that gets my attention. That's valuable to me because I'm all about creating transformation. So it's all about get attention and then give value to build a relationship. Human nature all through history, cultures all over the world have this concept of giving a gift, aka value, in order to establish and build and cultivate a relationship. So just do those two things. Get their attention and give them value.
Yeah, I love it. Get their attention. First step. Step number one, get their attention. Then you got to add value. I love it. We have a segment here. It's probably a good transition. We have a segment here called Today is my January 1st. Now, for those folks who show up every night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you already know what's going to happen. You wait for this moment. You get to say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you, by the way. For all the new folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Today is my January 1st, is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for AJ on the other side is really two parts. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What do you hear? And number two, what was a setback, a challenge maybe you had in your business? And then how did you bounce back from it, if you had any?
Yeah, Shay, I love this idea because I wrote this mantra for myself, and it was called it was about the new day. And I would say at the beginning, I would do this when I did motivational speaking. Today's a new day. Today is my day. I'm not affected by yesterday. I get better every single day. No matter my circumstance or challenge, I know I'll get through it because I am the author of my story. So it's this idea that it's just about I have another opportunity. So every single day, I look at it as January 1st. I know what I did yesterday. I know mistakes I made yesterday. I know my wins I had yesterday. But the wins I had yesterday aren't the wins I'll have today. Those are done and past. The mistakes I made yesterday aren't the mistakes I'll make today. Those are done and past. And, it's even a Bible principle. His grace is new, and every single morning there's new, fresh joy in the morning. So we've got to approach every day with that. And that's what I think of January 1st. Okay, it's another day. Here we go again. Another year, another week, another opportunity. A major setback for me, I'll share the most recent one. I was part of an organization. I stepped away from my business to go and be a part of an organization and take a role there where I built a team of fractional CMOs, chief marketing officers, and we were consulting a book of over 100 businesses. And this was $650 million in revenue across these businesses. And I was responsible for managing over $30 million in annual marketing spend, building all these systems and coaching and consulting. I built it all up, made lots of money, multiple millions of dollars for this organization, not including what was generated for clients. And then I got to a point where I realized I didn't align with the mission anymore, or at least what I thought the mission was. I was still on the same track, but I noticed this organization is not on the mission that they said they were. I was noticing clients not being taken care of, losing money, businesses going bankrupt, couples divorcing because of the strain on their business and their finances. And I had to make a decision. Do I go with my values or do I stay where the money's at? And my wife and I were taking home multiple six figures. But a mentor told me once, when your values are clear, your decisions are easy. So my decision was easy. I made a decision. 3 months later, my wife, who was the controller of the company, I was the director of marketing, we left. And we launched our company, Thousand Hills Consulting. And we had our January 1st, which was October of 2023. And since then, we've been solely focused on helping people, getting rich, and giving generously.
I love the duality in it, man. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for being so transparent. One of my favorite questions to ask when I have time, we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? Now, it's a loaded question, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, because he's had so many mentors. Obviously, he's read, I don't know how many books, who knows how many YouTube videos and online videos he's watching a lifetime right now. It's probably, I don't even count them anymore. So, but if you had to reach out and say, this is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given, what would it be and why?
It was what I mentioned earlier. And I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why is because it's proven time and time again to be a true north guiding light. When your values are clear, your decisions are easy. There are so many factors that go into making decisions. I might offend this person. I feel guilty, depending on the type of person you are. Just make it simple. Simplify everything. Establish your core values, whether it's tied to your faith or your whatever other beliefs. Have your core values and make decisions based on that. Don't make decisions that violate your core values. If you do that, you'll be solid. You'll hit some bumps and roads. You have to make some big sacrifices. But in the end, it's the person who stays true to their core values that lives in integrity and ends up winning.
What do you do for fun these days, man? We're not out saving the world, helping people, make a lot of money and live generously and give generously and so forth. And what do you do for fun these days?
So aside from spending time with my family, I've got 3 kids and a son and 2 daughters, and hang out with my wife and family, playing games, watching movies, hanging out, playing with the dogs. I like cigars. I like guns. and I like martial arts. So, I mean, I might be smoking a cigar, cleaning my gun, watching some dudes beat each other up in an octagon.
What's one of the lessons you learned from martial arts, man? I mean, I'm not a martial arts guy, but I'm always curious because they always share these things that they've learned. So if you had to say, hey, here's one or two things I learned from just being in martial arts, because you don't just watch it. It sounds like you also participate in martial arts as well. Is that correct? Or you just watch it?
No, I trained for a lot of years, earned my black belt rank.
I thought I read that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my
So,
question is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My
martial
question is, what's one or two of the lessons you learned just that you learned from just being in martial arts, like being someone else that teaches it, but you live and breathe it? I'm just curious, man.
Yeah, so there was the values, and then there's a saying that we had for when we would fight, when we would spar. So the values were modesty, integrity, discipline, self control, and indomitable spirit. Those are the core values. I take that into business and approach it the same way. Then the principle was, when we were in a fight, strike first, strike fast, strike fear. So when I go into business, which I think look at it as warfare, I'm trying to help save people from being ripped off or losing. My rule is be ethical, but be ruthless. I won't lie. I won't cheat. I won't steal, but I will ethically defeat you.
I love it. And what about consistency? Because martial art takes, I heard discipline in there. And I'm curious, you probably heard this before. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. And having said that, what do most people struggle with most? Well, they struggle with being consistent. So take a moment and talk about being disciplined and maybe one or two of your mantras that they keep you on track, because it's very difficult. It's easy to say a lot of things. It's a lot harder to do it.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about that: consistency and discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, the way it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, regardless of whether or not you want to do it. And then consistency is repeating the same thing and continually getting better, which requires discipline. Where people make the mistake is they're consistently disciplined in doing the wrong thing. And that's where wisdom comes into play. And it's the missing link. The Bible talks about understanding and wisdom. Understanding is knowledge. Wisdom is knowing how to rightly apply knowledge. So it's not enough to be consistent. It's not enough to even be disciplined. You have to have wisdom to be consistently disciplined in the right things. Because if you're digging a hole in the wrong spot, it doesn't matter how long you dig, you're not going to find gold.
I like it, man. As we almost coming down the home stretch, what's next for you, man? What's some of the big things your company is up to over the next couple of years? What do you want to accomplish?
We just in the next couple of years, we're expanding. We have some business partners. Actually, we're having a meeting with them at the time we're recording this tomorrow to expand the vision of how we can help more businesses get rich and give generously to fund great causes, community, their church, whatever those causes are. So for us, it is just about looking forward and growing. We have a vision to grow this company within the next 24 months or less to $20 million, because that is based on the number of people that we want to help. And from there, who knows? The options are limitless.
I love it, man. I love it. So we come down the home stretch. I guess the final question is a two-part question, which is number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to take on now, if any? Sounds like you are, which is cool. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have now?
Absolutely. So the answer to the first question, the type of clients we work with are businesses that are looking to scale systematically. So there's two sides. There's the new business, but primarily if you're a business that's anywhere from startup to 20 million, we help you build your marketing, sales, finance, operational, HR systems, and set you up for scale. We teach you how to think like a CEO, and we've scaled many businesses. We teach you how to do that, and we become your fractional team to build those things out for you. And then remind me of the second part of the question.
Hit the wrong button. How can people best connect with you over and beyond today?
Find me on Instagram. I'm AJ Adams, letter I, letter M, AJ Adams. Connect with me there. And from there, you'll see links to everything I have available. There's lots of free gifts and training that you can access at no cost, no obligation. So connect with me.
Man. Well, let me say thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. We appreciate it. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So I think you've given us the most precious resource you have right now, which is your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me and sharing your time and your audience's time with me.
Good. And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, there really is no show. So we really appreciate you every time you show up. Yeah, it's cool when you hit the like button. That's cool. But if you can hit the share button, that's really helpful. Like, share this message to another entrepreneur. Share this message to someone else that wants to have more money and more impact in the world. When you do that, man, we all make a bigger difference together. I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time how special you are and how super amazing you are and how super awesome. And you're doing some incredible things no matter what's going on in your life. I believe that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name hasn't changed. It's still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things how we connect again next time. Thanks a lot, AJ. We appreciate it, y'all. We're out of here. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye.